Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls Easy Mode. Last time we reached the bonfire at the pinnacle of Sense Fortress. Well, pinnacle. After the trap section of Sense Fortress. And now let's continue exploring the place a little. Incidentally, this is a good tactic with the Zweihander, because it's so heavy. If you time it right, the jumping attacks can really mess up some enemies. Because it has incredible poise breaking potential, so it can really knock them down, and you need to time it somewhat right. And then you can just basically smash them before they can do anything against you. And yeah, down there you get the Flamestone Plate Ring, which is a ring that increases fire resistance. It's not terribly useful, but it's nice to have. Yeah. Let's move on. Incidentally, the item down there is a sniper crossbow, which is fairly useless. Now here's a soul item. And up here is the final large Titanite shards you need to upgrade your items. So, even if you didn't get any as drops from the leeches in Blighttown, in the swamp, oh, there we go, you can still, wow. You can still upgrade your weapon to +10 just by using the large shards that you just find as drops. As not as drops, as actual just guaranteed items. Plus, there's also a merchant in this area where you can buy them. They are somewhat expensive though, so might not be. Incidentally, this is the Undead Prince Ricard. He's a bit nasty to do using just melee. The easiest way to kill him is using sorcery, and I'll show you exactly how. Basically, he will start standing up here and shooting you with arrows. And if you position yourself right on this stair, the exact spot, I don't think it's always the same, it might be, but anyway, there's a few spots on the stair where if you just stand there, because of how the arrows target you, they won't actually hit you, they'll hit the stairs instead. So you can then just stand there and spam him with soul magic, sorcery that is, and that's a really easy way to kill him, basically. I instead used combustion because he can't parry you for it, and combustion is incredibly fast, whereas a swing from this sword just takes a long time and he can stun you out of it, because his rapier is very, very fast. Anyway, there's two chests behind him, with a divine blessing and a rare ring of sacrifice. Neither of these chests are mimics, by the way. And just in case, the mimics in this game are fixed. They are always in the same locations. So if a chest is a mimic in this video series, it will always be a mimic. And if it isn't a mimic, it will never be a mimic. So it's not random. Basically, chests are either safe or mimic, and you know which ones are which. You can also check, of course, by looking at them, but basically you don't really have to, because it's fixed. Now, next thing I'll do is probably deal with that huge guy throwing firebombs at me, which I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And afterwards we'll continue exploring a little. Now this here will be a shortcut. We can open this cage eventually, but right now it's locked. You might remember that I showed you a quick way to get to Logan by using the Snake Man to break the wall. He did a certain attack that broke the wall, basically. And the key you would usually need for that is only obtainable in this section of the game. But those cages can only be opened with that key, so the master key won't work. Okay, let's see. Hello, dude. Okay, he has one attack where he just exerts himself and does quite a long chain of attacks. I'll hope to be able to show you. Oops, I think I may have missed him there. He's not doing it. I guess it's just random. I missed him there. And there. No, that might have actually been a hit. That's the one. Afterwards, he's just lying down. Yeah. Okay, he was already almost dead, but basically that quick combo, best to avoid it. And then afterwards he will rest. He will basically kneel down and rest for quite a while. So you then have a good opportunity to attack him. There's nothing else up here, by the way, except for his Titanite chunk that he drops. It's noteworthy that you can also use ranged attacks if you're just kind of standing at the door here, and you can usually get away from his attacks and then spam him with whatever ranged weapons you have. It takes a long time, and I don't think it's that difficult to fight him up here, but if you do find that difficult, you can wait in the door, about here, and eventually he'll still do that rage attack, but he can actually reach you, and then his head will be just about here, and you can just walk right into the door and just take a few swings at him and really dish out some damage, and when you notice he gets back up again, you can just go down the stairs again and you'll be safe. And that guy doesn't respawn, and we are now free from the firebombs that he's been throwing. Now you can also kill that other giant, the one over there, by the way. I believe the only way to do it is with ranged attacks. I'm not sure though. Anyway, he does respawn. He's the guy who's dropping the boulders into the boulder trap from earlier, and there's no real benefit to killing him. I don't even know how many souls he gives you. I've only ever killed him once, just because at this point the boulder trap is no longer an issue. Okay, now we will have to jump this gap, and I hope I'll be able to make it. Nope. Luckily this drop is not fatal, and at least this way we get the sniper crossbow, which is a somewhat decent item. I'll try that jump again, basically as long as until I get it. I jumped just slightly late. It's a bit of a tight jump, but it's definitely doable. If you're not fast rolling, I believe your equip weight also affects your jumping distance. It might. So just for this jump, it might be advisable to take off your armor if it's too heavy. And there we go. I'll talk to the merchant who's up here in just a second. First we'll go down. Because if you didn't get the master key, then this is where you get the key to be able to free Logan from his cage and also unlock that shortcut I showed you earlier. There we go. Have a nice sleepy, and this is the cage key. You can now backtrack to free Logan if you didn't already. I myself won't, because obviously I have used the master key and there's not much else to do by backtracking. Yeah. Basically you just go back the way we came. There's no special tricks for backtracking. If you've already opened... if you've already opened the wall by sending a boulder down or using one of the serpents, but didn't manage to unlock the cage for Logan because you didn't have the master key, then using the shortcut, which I am about to show you, could help. But yeah. This guy sells black firebombs and green blossoms, small titanite shards and large titanite shards. Now they are somewhat expensive here. You might remember they only cost 800 at Andre, the first blacksmith we really met. I guess technically the second, because there's the guy in New Londo, but yeah. His prices are slightly higher. Same for large titanite shards and green titanite shards. You will soon find an NPC who also sells them, but for a little less. But of course, if you want the shards now for whatever reason, you can buy them. And then there's a few weapons he sells. Nothing of interest to me. I guess the boulder shield is kind of nice for some people. Bunch of arrows. Again, nothing super special here. He sells the Katarina armor and the steel armor and the boulder armor. Again, nothing I'm interested in, but if you particularly like these, you could buy them. And rings that boost lightning or magic defense respectively.
Nothing at all.
Okay, let's see if I can make the jump back. Okay, that worked out. It's not that difficult of a jump, I just messed up the first one. Yeah, I could probably go with the 200 plus 9 and finish the area just fine, but I'll go for the plus 10 version. Just because I can. Oh, where are you? There you are. 200 plus 10. And also repair equipment. No. Stop eating my inputs. Do I have enough souls to level up? Twice even. I'll go for endurance. I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly how to level up, because it really depends on what build you're using. If you're a new player, you might want to give vitality more attention and endurance slightly less. But again, it depends on your playstyle. There's no reason why you should have to play a block-centered character on your first playthrough. I myself never really played one, just not my playstyle. But yeah, if you focus more on blocking and tanking damage, then you might want to invest more points into vitality. And if you want to focus more on dodging, then you want more points in endurance, because that allows you to dodge more. It also allows you to block slightly more, but generally when playing a blocking character, you want to be able to tank a little more damage. Yeah, so this is the shortcut. It takes you down to the very first bridge with the swinging pendulum axis. Since I have nothing left to get down there, for now at least. I'm not going to show you that. But basically, go into the cage, it takes you down there. Easy peasy. And now I will show you how to deal with the boss fight. You can already see through these windows here. That's the upcoming boss. It might be tempting to try and snipe it from here. You cannot. It doesn't work. I've tried. But it's still very, very easy to do this boss fight, or at least usually is. There's a summon here for a guy called Iron Tarkus, who we are going to summon. And Tarkus is incredibly powerful. Sometimes you get unlucky, and he just dies pretty much straight away in the fight. I don't think there's much you can do to influence that. But, yeah. If it happens, you can either try the fight yourself, or you can summon him. You can basically die, make yourself human again, summon him again. Because most of the time he can completely solo this boss fight. So let's go in. And there he is, the Iron Golem. Okay, let's see, Tarkus. Let's see if he manages. Now this is a bad location for him to stand because the Golem has a grab attack, which we're about to see, I think? Nope. Okay. Wow. Okay, that was quick. yeah. I'll just attack a little as well. Ow. I missed. Now Tarkus does more damage than I do, which is funny. Wow. Yeah, sorry, I'm focusing on the fight a little. Though, basically, you can knock the Golem down, as you just saw, he was knocked down. If you knock him down in the correct location, for example, right here-ish, where I'm standing, you can not only knock him down, but you can make him completely fall out of the boss area, which will insta-kill him. And Tarkus can get that kill. It's very rare, though. Yeah, by the way, that grab attack is usually the way Tarkus dies, if he dies, because he gets grabbed and thrown off the edge. But as you see, even if Tarkus doesn't get the special kill, which that is quite rare, I've only ever seen that once in a video, in all my playthroughs, it's never happened. But even if Tarkus doesn't get it, he's usually well strong enough to just kill him solo. Let's see if it happens. He's being a bit unlucky right now. His AI is incredibly poor. But yeah, as you just saw, when after he had knocked down the Golem, he basically stood there blocking with his sword for a long time, which is just pointless. But yeah, see, that's Iron Tarkus. I know I did a little bit of damage, but as you can see, Tarkus is still almost at half health. So even without my intervention, that would have probably been a victory. Which is by far the easiest way to beat this boss fight. Summon Tarkus and then just make sure you don't die. And that's it. Yeah. And again, I would just advise you, especially if you can record your gameplay, always summon Tarkus, because it would just be so awesome to see him get the special kill. As I said, it's very rare. I've seen it happen on a video. I've never seen it happen myself, but I know it's possible. It might be able to make it slightly more likely by pulling the Golem to a place where he can actually be knocked down, but it's still very, very random whether you get it or not. Anyway, if you can record, I would definitely advise you summon Tarkus, just because if you manage to record that special kill, that would be super awesome. Okay, now that we've killed him, of course, there's not much... there isn't really any way to go on, except for touching the Ring of Light. And touching it, I will actually leave this cutscene in because I really like it, but touching it triggers the transition to the next area. After this boss fight in my first playthrough, I was still not entirely convinced that this was a good game, but this cutscene really wowed me and made me fall in love with the game. Just because this reveal shot is so awesome. Anor Londo. Okay, after you've defeated the Iron Golem. Oh yeah, there's actually one point by the way, you can talk to this guy to take you back. There's one point I was going to mention but forgot. The Iron Golem boss fight can be substantially harder than it was for me if you didn't kill the firebomb giant guy. I would always advise to kill that guy, because otherwise he will throw firebombs rather, into the center of the boss arena, and that can be a huge pain. So make sure to kill it before you enter the boss room. I think Tarkus might be able to help with that. I've actually never tried that, but he probably can. He's quite tanky. His shield is able to block a ton of damage. And he has lots of health and good armor as well. So yeah, as you could see, by the way, these giant sentinels, you can run past them. They have a very short range at which they aggro. They do eventually aggro. They are hostile enemies, and you can kill them. But I'd suggest after having killed the golem, just go follow my path. Go down this flight of stairs to the bonfire. Just because then if you do die against the sentinels, you don't have to start back in Sense Fortress. So here we rest. And next thing is this NPC. And this is also a Firekeeper. Now you might remember we have gotten a Firekeeper soul in Blighttown, but we were unable to use it because the Firekeeper at Firelink Shrine was dead. So let's reinforce the Estus Flask. Which also makes this a bonfire that gives 10 Estus. I'll level up Endurance to 28. That looks decent. Okay, now comes... Actually, I probably want to go to the longsword because it's faster. Doesn't do as much damage, I know, but... actually, for the moment, I'll stick to the Zwinder. I'll switch around between these two weapons as I see fit. These guys guard a chest. I believe it contains either Twinkling or Demon Titanite. I am not sure which one, but we'll get to that. I'm not going to farm the Sentinels just yet. Actually, there is one thing I might mention. Yeah, I'll kill one sentinel just to show you how it's done, I guess. Especially with these, you can aggro them by themselves, and they do follow you quite a long way. They just don't aggro from a great range. So definitely make sure to pull him a good way away from his colleague. Ow. And try not to block that, but actually dodge, and don't mess up the dodge timing. Luckily, they do move quite slowly. They walk slowly. They don't actually attack slowly. As you can see, their attacks are pretty fast. Get out the way of the shield. Shield slam, shield bash, whatever you want to call it. Because that has a pretty large area of effect. And their shields block 100% of pretty much everything. I don't believe anything can go through those shields, so only attack them when their shields aren't raised. So from behind or from the side. So yeah, that's how you kill them. The reason why I'm showing you this is because that chest on the right is a mimic. Okay, I'll just kill you as well. See, that was apparently still blocked. There you go. Die. Just take a sip. This is a very good place to show you the difference in chains, by the way. See this chain? It's pointing towards me, and it's kind of not rolled up in a circle. Whereas this chain points away from me, points towards the chest, and it's rolled up in a nice neat circle. This is not the mimic. Completely fine. And this chain indicates a mimic. You can also tell from some other differences. As I said, it'll eventually open. I believe the hatch on the chest is also slightly different, and it has that breathing animation. There you go. But yeah, looking at the chains is the easiest way. And don't get hit by that, by the way. That's a grab attack where it... Unless you're a very tanky character, it'll insta-kill you. Reason why I killed him, he drops the Crystal Halberd. The Crystal Halberd, as the name suggests, is a crystal weapon. It's a standard halberd that's been upgraded along the crystal path. Let's look at this. See on the right, under the HP, stamina, and equip load, there's a value called R Weapon 1. That's basically that's a value that corresponds to the attack, the damage rating on my Zweihander, because that's the weapon that's in my first right-hand slot. So 358 is the damage it does. As you see, most other weapons have a slightly lower value, quite a lot lower, but the Crystal Halberd is at 320, which is not much lower than the 358 of the Zweihander. It's 38 lower. And the Crystal Halberd isn't even upgraded, and it's a lot lighter. So basically the way it works is crystal weapons get a huge boost to their damage, while at the same time getting losing the ability to be repaired. So the Crystal Halberd, if you haven't got a good weapon at this point, it is basically a huge damage boost. But you will never be able to repair it, so essentially once it's broken, it's completely broken, and it becomes useless. The only thing you can do to repair it is upgrade it. So you could invest a Titanite chunk, making it a Crystal Halberd +1, for example. Don't fly around so much, please. And as a Crystal Halberd +1, ow. Did not dodge that. Did not time that well. Yeah. Crystal Halberd +1. It will be fully fixed, and once you upgrade it again to +2, it'll again be fully fixed. But obviously you cannot go beyond +5. That's the maximum upgrade for crystal weapons. So once you've reached that point, yeah, you basically will no longer be able to repair your weapon. But at least for a short-term noticeable damage boost, it's a very nice item to have, which is why I showed you how to get it. Yeah, I was actually going to cut at the bonfire, but I forgot, so I'm just going to cut here. I'm going to grab an item right here. Demon Titanite. And then I think this is a good place to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed and maybe found some useful hints. And I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.